right. I've hijacked the podcast here.
I will give you my 40 years of wisdom, everybody. There's zero. I used to be an angry golfer, like an angry golfer. You know what? There's 0 point. There's 0 point. It literally gets you nowhere, right?
I've gotten better.
You have gotten better. You have gotten better. But we're talking about angry golfers. This guy right here.
The spirals you can go through and just the position you can put yourself in from just attitude on the golf course. And it's easy for me to say, and I'll tell you why. I'm not a depressed person, or I know I've been an anxious person my whole life. I get anxiety, and oh no, the world's coming to an end. And 3 years ago, during at the beginning of the pandemic, I've always been the type of person who I get a bad thought about something that bugs me in my head, and I dwell on it. And I go down the spiral of dwelling on it for days. And it apparently was the same thing in my golf game. The bad shot that just dwells and stews. So after years, I brought this up with my doctor. I've got this negative thought in my head that's bothering me, and it was a life thing, and I can't stop thinking about it. And he pitched it to me as you might have a type of OCD anxiety. And, I'm going to give you this mild antidepressant to try, and you take one a day. And it was instant. I was actually more awake and more alive, and everybody has chemical imbalances. I believe this, and that one antidepressant got me out of that. I'm the type of guy, if my boss at work says, hey, can we have a chat later? I think I'm getting fired, and he just wants to have a chat and catch up. And for the rest of the day, it was the worst day of work of my life. This took all of that away. And it was instantly noticeable on the golf course with my friends who were like, did you do something different? You just hit a bad shot and you walked over there and you said, I'm going to hit the next one. You just hit the next one and you went. I got to tell you guys, I did the greatest thing ever. I went on something called antidepressants, and now life is the greatest thing ever. And the point is, anybody who's going through things, if bring it up with your doctor, because just doing that changed my whole outlook and attitude on everything. And my golf game, I couldn't believe that I was suffering through anger and dwelling on things on the golf course. Changed my life. Yeah. And it wasn't depression, people. There's no stigma around antidepressants and depression. Turns out I had some sort of OCD-ish anxiety that, you can help. Yeah. So it'll help your golf game, and don't be mad. That's my point.
So,
yeah.
When we started playing a few years ago, I was a very angry golfer. I figured I should be better. Without ever really playing the game, I should be better at it than I am. But mentally, and again, Chris is playing sports. I play hockey. In most sports, I don't speak for Chris, but I always had mental markers to go back to, right? To take away the anger, the anxiety. I developed these markers because I was in it so long. And okay, you let that one slide, you let that one slide. They golf because they're so new, and you've never really watched golf, played golf. I didn't have any markers to go back to. Mm-hmm. So the anger just builds because you don't have that marker to go back to, right? So over the years now, like last year I played 101 rounds, 102. The year before
I played 101 rounds?
Yeah. And the year before I played 103 rounds. The year before that I think I played 59. So in the last 3 years, me and Chris Vogel played right around 300 rounds because we wanted. We haven't played the sport, and for us at our age, I mean, Chris is a little bit younger than I am, but we don't really have any kids that are around. All the kids are kind of on their own. They're up old enough to be doing their own thing. I've only got one left at home. She's 16, so she doesn't really need dad around. My wife has a career. So what do? I have a job. Yes, I have a job that I work. I go to work Monday to Friday. And our golf course, our home course for the last 3 years is literally 30 seconds away from my work.
Oh, nice.
So when I'm done at 4 o'clock, I'm in my vehicle. I'm 30 seconds down to the golf course. I'm getting 18 in every day.
Yep.
Every day. On the weekends, when my wife is at work, We're getting 36 in a day. Guaranteed.
We play a lot.
We play a lot of golf. And I mean, we live in Alberta, so we don't get 6 months of golf.
Well, yeah, you've got to cram it in, right?
So
Yeah.
in that 6 months, we're hammering golf. And so we've got a lot of golf rounds in. Our games arguably getting better because we're playing a lot, not really figuring a lot out, but just playing a lot. Next year, we're moving courses. So our home course is a par 66. When we play it for the last 2 years, then we have one par 5. And again, just learning how to navigate that course and really shave strokes off and doing the work.
But more.
Right. So next year, moving into a par 72 course, bigger course. Of course, in the beginning, because we played it a few times, intimidated the crap out. All number one's a par 5 dogleg, right? This hole will be in my dreams forever because it is a tough. It's a tough opening hole, right? But last year, this past season, when we played it half a dozen times, it really didn't have the same effect. So now we're moving to this course this year, and this is going to be a fun course. But in my mind, now prepping for this season as we get going, it's not going to be quantity, it's going to be quality.
Yep.
So I'm probably not going to play the 100 rounds. I'd love to get 75 rounds in it, of course.
Yep.
But they're going to be rounds that are more. You go do your work before, you play around, you go do your work after.
Yeah.
Making sure you're hitting the range, making sure. Chris has a routine now that I've seen works. Because he puts a lot of time in on the range. The guy's an animal.
For some reason, I won. He did 2 of the last 3 to the championship. Should be 3 for 3.
Hey, I got a tour championship guy, so, and you can never take that away.
That's
Ever.
true.
So I got a major win on the Mulligans and Hackers. So next year we're going to keep the Mulligans and Hackers field going in some aspect. The more, how do I say, next year's golf is going to be getting better.
Yeah. Our focus is going to change a little bit. We're, of course, like the course I'm talking about that we're going to, it's actually going to be not just one course. We operate dual membership. The one bending or the other one. And I mean, they're 2 of the nicest courses. And we're lucky we have 6 courses. It's insane. How many golf courses we have.
A population of 63,000.
Yeah.
That many golf courses.
And they're all nice.
No.
And I mean, we're gonna change that up a little bit. And I mean, for me, when I first, when we got real about this and we got our first membership, and we got down there, and I was like, you know what? I mean, I don't do something just to do it because that's not my personality. My personality is if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna put the time and the work and try and be as good as I can be. And I mean, I understand that golf is probably one of the toughest games to get actually good at because there's so much time and effort that you have to put in, but there's only so many things that you can control. So I mean, there's a lot of outside aspects when you're on a golf course, right? Weather comes into play a big deal. I mean, there's what's happening on the golf course. Can you put that out of your mind? How was your day? Can you focus on what you're doing? There's so many different things, and you only have control over so many. I think I kind of have a leg up on now in the mental aspect, simply because I do a lot of coaching, and I coach a lot of young athletes in volleyball, and we always talk about like the next play mentality. So when I go to play golf, I'm like, it's the next shot mentality. Good, bad, doesn't matter what it is. Once it's left the club, it's no longer in your control. You got to take the outcome, and I mean, golf's like life, right? Sometimes you'll get bad bounces and they'll turn good, and sometimes you'll get good bounces and they'll turn bad. And I mean, you got to take both, and you just got to work with what you got. So over the years, I've kind of learned to just be like, you know what? Some days you go out there and you're hitting the ball and you just don't have your best stuff. You got to figure out a way to get around the golf course and put up a score. And it might not be the score you want to shoot that day, but you got to try and make the best of what's there. And I mean, and that's all you can really do because that's all that's in your control. I mean, Alvin's been starting to get a lot better at that, and I think once we go to the par 72s, I mean, I usually travel and play a lot of courses, in Alberta and around BC. And I like to play a lot of different courses just for the different challenges they present. Like, a lot of courses I've only played once, and I'm like, this is awesome. I have no idea what to expect. Nothing. I go out there and I'm like, usually we're paired with a member or something, and I'm like, so what can you tell me? Can you give me any insights into what I should do, or do I just go off, off the book and we'll see what happens? But it's fun. I love the challenge. I think, if you listen to our last podcast, Alvin was talking to Leah from Alberta Golf Tour, and that's something that we're gonna do this year. Alan's already signed up. We're gonna sign up, and we're gonna try and play a few amateur events. Get that feel.
Just for the experience, more than anything. Yeah, I want to go and compete. But for us in the golf world that we're in now, it's experience. Wouldn't it be great? We played on did our own thing for 3 years. Well, where do we go from there? What's next? And it was always in the back of our mind that this is Alberta Golf Tour thing. And I really wanted to get a feel for it. Now I'm totally stoked to go and see the schedule and get a couple of. We want to make at least a couple of events and just go and experience that tour golf. That'd be kind of cool because we've never done anything like that where we're under somebody else's banner.
We never really we've discussed in previous years, but I don't think personally I didn't think that I was ready in previous years. I'm like, I don't want to make a fool of myself. I'm just new to this. And I mean,
we're going to do that anyways.
Of course, but I mean, now we're comfortable with our golf games and comfortable enough to realize that, hey, I mean, usually when you go out and golf, and I think the first thing when we started golf, or one of the first things, is when you get paired with the first random person, or first random two people that you get paired with, and you're like, oh, how's this gonna go? Because I don't really want to look like a fool, right? But it turns out everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's out there just playing golf, and I mean, they just want they're really playing their own game, and you're out there just getting to meet people and have a good time. And I mean, once you can kind of get that into your head, it just becomes a whole much more enjoyable game that way.
Oh yeah, and tournaments are great. I don't know, it gives you a new perspective and a little drive, and there's an atmosphere. Just going to a tournament, there's an atmosphere around it. Getting there early and checking in, and going warming up. There's it's just an experience, right? Regardless of what you shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that first one where we make our debut, and you just go and experience it. And
yep.
You go in, the tents are there, the flags are there, and it's like, oh wow, this is going to be so cool. It'd be like a kid in a candy store. Right?
I love tournament golf. It's the buzz and the like I say, the whole getting there, setting up, prepping, talking to people. You're all got the sort of same target. There's a vibe to it. Yeah,
for sure. Me and Chris, we coach hockey at provincial level, Western level, so we've had higher stakes coaching and hockey. It's the same thing when you go to a tournament like that and you're playing against big cities, Edmonton, Calgary, Surrey, Vancouver, and we're a little medicine hat, right? You go, you do your work, so we're always there. As soon as the first game starts, we're there. We might be there 2 or 3 hours before our game is. You're there, you're watching the other teams play, you're taking your notes, you're getting. So I'm looking forward to that type of atmosphere going to the course as well. We don't know which tournaments we're going to play, which courses we're going to play, but going and getting that scorebook of going on 2.5 18 birdies and doing your homework on the course before you go. I'm so looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's the stuff that really, really piques your interest and piques my interest. It's we've learned. If there's nothing else that we've learned from playing Cottonwood, it's how to game plan for a course. Because our home course for the last 3 years is par 66 consecutive course, but it is a course that you cannot just go and be a big ball around, not without a bunch of risks. And unless you're very accurate, there is a massive bunch of risks. And I swear to God,
there's no bailout right anywhere on that course. Zero bailout right anywhere. Maybe on a couple of holes there's bailout right.
I'm gonna bring all my lefties out.
If you got a fade or a slice, you're not going to play well. And again, the course is not long, but man, if you can't put your shot in the fairway, it's going to be a long day.
People don't realize how important course management is. And if you can have a course that teaches you that, that's part of the huge struggle for, you know, the average golfer who's shooting, you know, 100 in the 90s, in the 80s, wanting to get into the 70s. And they're not doing any course management. They're just going out there and trying to rip driver down. And then you hit the next shot. There's no real thought into it. And we saw it with one of our friends this year who's, you know, he's breaking those barriers. He's gotten past 85. He's starting to shoot in the 70s. And Jim and I were out for a round with him and changing his mentality of, knowing where you want to dial back and place this here and then learn how to knock a wedge down rather than going 100% at everything. And then watching him, the smile as he's putting himself into position and better scoring opportunities and seeing the light bulb go on. Okay, I need you guys to take me out for another round like this. But I have more fun talking to him about stuff like that and seeing people realizing the course management opportunities that they have out there, right? It's not just because it's a par four and X number of yards, you don't have to pull driver out. You don't have to get to close to the green as possible.
Again, playing over the last few years, we've learned that because in our first year we played at our home course, we were hitting driver off every par four because we had to.
Yep.
Right? And then so last year we were hardly hitting driver off any holes from the tips because we didn't have to. Right? And just seeing your game get to those type of levels is I mean, I hit more greens this year in regulation than I had total my entire golf life.
Yeah.
Well, we had this little series on our YouTube channel, going for the green on number 6. Number 6 is a dogleg right short elevated green. And it kind of had, for me, because I don't hit a cut or a fade, I kind of got to go over the tree line. I hit that green 690. Never hit it before, but I had the ability to hit it this year, and that's where you see your game developing a little bit. And it's good to see, like the work you put in. Because I did put some work in this year, regardless of what you said. Seeing those type of results, zero egos too, right?
One wicket.
That was like
that was around one of the rounds of around my season. It was par 4 out at Breakfast, which was par 71, 75. It was second par 5, hole number 7. I launched the drive with some help in the wind. Left me about 165. Grabbed an 8-iron, which at that point in the season was my favorite club in my bag. And I'm like, oh, this is perfect. This gives me exactly what I want to get to the center of the green. And I knocked it to about, 7 feet. And then I was stepping up, reading the ball, and I said to Alan, I was like, wouldn't it be funny if I made this?
Because we didn't even have a camera. Like, we don't do any content.
Not when we're playing
tournament days. I would do zero content.
Because that was a tournament day, and I was like, you know what? I was like, it'll be our luck that I make this because we're not videotaping it. And I looked at it, I'm like, it's a pretty straight putt. I was like, so of course I hit it dead center. I'm like, oh, sweet.
And again, so we shot plus 5? Plus 4 that day?
Yeah.
Like, in our group that we have, in our tour that we have, somebody shooting plus 4, none of us are catching it anyways.
Yeah. So I had an electric day that day.
So he takes all the points, takes the W, and just nobody's touching him. So, but anyways, Dan, so we talked about your golf. So now let's talk about your gear. So I know you're a sub 70 guy. We've established that you're a sub 70.
Yeah.
So is your bag now sub 70 from top to bottom?
Yeah, yes and no. So I tried the driver this year. It was great. It was we had a 60-gram shaft. The head was a little heavier. I was hitting a lot of fairways, and at the I'll be honest, at the end of the year, I put the Titleist back in the bag. I was just like, it was lighter and I liked the feel of it. I'm not young anymore, so, but I could interchange the drivers. It was just, honestly, it was a matter of just feel. Yeah. But yeah, they're hybrids, which won the My Golf Spy hybrids. There was, reigning champ. They're legit. I had no problem putting that in the bag. And retiring the 10-year-old Titleist hybrid. The forward's been fantastic. And yep, through the irons are the 659 series, split set of the TCs and CBs, same irons that John Daly's playing everyone. And the wedges I put in a few years back, and I'm going to be switching to the TA wedges, the same wedges John Daly's playing everyone. And I've been rolling an Odyssey 11 putter. I've got a Cleveland blade I've rolled for a while. And so I told them for social, we should put me in a putter. At least I can do photography and things like that. But I just got the Flow Neck 001. It is beautiful. Put a nice leather grip on it. So it will be the putter that I'm going to start the season with. I've been rolling it at home and very happy with it. But yeah, I could definitely go. I would have no issue going, if I was committed by contract to play the full bag. But yeah, I'm 95% now, and I got no issues with it. Yeah.
That's good. So let's do a theoretical here. So we take sub 70 out of the picture. Build us your
fantasy.
Fantasy.
Well, irons I would go with. I have sitting in the corner over here. I was fortunate enough to work with Koei Golf a few years back, and Japanese forgings right out of handmade. And I've got Acura shafts in those, and they're beautiful. There's a feel to a Japanese forging, and so we'll go with those irons. Whatever driver I get fitted to in that fantasy set, the irons I already know are fantastic. The correct answer to this question is whatever I'm properly fitted to. But that is the correct answer to this. But a dream bag, my 8802 putter from 1986, my Ping I2 wedges, my Ping I2 wedges I had the full set of I2s, with the box grooves. Nice. Those irons, those Koei irons are freaking beautiful. Look them up, the dual weighted ones. And then, yeah, whatever irons, I'd keep my sub 70 hybrids. They are legit. I mean, because how do you pick a hybrid and stuff? But I'm obviously going to go with the Japanese forgings, not saying that my irons aren't good enough, but if you're saying dream set, yeah. But like I say, my buddy Greg, who's a self-admitted brand snob, he could play the sub 70 stuff, right? But he's had a lifelong dream of owning a set of Titleist irons. And he's had Daiwa forgings, the Daiwa Australian blade or whatever Norman was playing. Isn't that what they were? The Maxwell. He's had all these growing up, and he's an accomplished pro. And, he'd always wanted a set of Titleist irons. And when you have that dream, you do it. So he's extremely financially stable and et cetera. And this year he went and did the Titleist fitting and just got the irons. And he's like a kid in a candy store, right? At 49 years old, watching him at the range, finally hitting these things last week. That's the answer to the question. Everybody has a dream set. And my dream set would be, obviously a high-end Japanese forged iron because they just feel beautiful. But yes, sub 70, it would be your irons. Yeah, I will say that on camera, right? Yeah.
So that was me when I kind of got into golf. But I wanted a Wilson bag. I wanted my bag to be Wilson. Because again, when we got into this golf thing, I'm a history buff. I like my history. So when I got into golf, started going back and watching old rounds from the 70s and the 80s. I'm a Masters fanatic. There's a YouTube channel and has every last round of the Masters from all the way back to 1960. I've watched that entire channel probably about 10 times. And I've always been a Wilson bag. So I've got 3 Wilson bags over in the corner there now. One tour bag and 2 cart bags. I got another old 1980s Wilson bag right over there in the corner. And my iron set, the first iron set I bought, brand new, was Wilson DCL. So now that I've got that done, I can move on and I can be a brand whore for anyone.
If I wasn't fortunate enough to gotten to know sub 70 and now, I work with a brand, I was growing up very Wilson very Wilson driven. That was the brand I remember growing up. I remember being a kid and, you know, everybody had pro staff golf balls, and I really wanted to try the new staff ball that came out. And about 7 years ago, my buddy Colby and I got to know the local rep, and she let us borrow all the demo irons and the FG Tour blades and all that stuff. And he's still playing those in a split set. He ended up buying all the demos off her that season. And yeah, I was bugging Wilson Canada. I want to try the balls. I want to love them. I want to try the balls. And I did love the soft golf balls and all that. And yeah, I was a very Wilson guy. So I can see where you're going. Where there is something about the brand history of Wilson and wanting to be able to support it and be there for them. And my buddy Chris, he got the FG, the V6 irons. He got the V6 cavity backs a few years back in lefties and absolutely loves them. And there's something about a brand history of wanting to play Wilson. I get it, and the balls. And I bet you the golf balls are tour good, but Titleist just feeds everyone, right? Like, I want to play. I love their logo. I'll just say that. Yeah.
So I played Wilson Triads last year for a while.
Yeah.
Golf ball, and I like them. I must say I like them.
If you ask me,
I was fine. I've always fine for myself. Always went back to the Pro V1 because again, this is it.
Yeah.
I don't pay for the Pro V1, so you always go back to the ball that you're not paying for. That's just there in the closet all the time. So I like the Pro V1.
I'm friends with the local Titleist reps, and Pro V1X is the ball for me. It fits me. It's the right ball flight and everything. But I'll tell you, my favorite golf ball none is the 2018 Duo Professional, the Wilson Duo U Professional. It was 60 compression, urethane ball. I can stop it on a dime. For some reason, it pops off the driver for me. If they still made that thing, I would be like pouring myself to Wilson to still play that thing. The Triad, I'll be honest, the Triad doesn't react the same way. I bought a dozen Triads on sale at Golf Town because I really wanted to try it, and they go a little higher for me, etc. And when they had the Duo U Professionals on sale a few months back, I'm staring at them right now. I bought a bunch of dozen because I love playing those things. And I got buddies that are like, why are you playing those things? And I'm like, don't you just watch me play with those today? I hit it fantastic. I don't know. I love that golf ball. And what it comes down to is really, you work putter and wedges back. I love the feel of those things. And it spins low off the driver for me on the other end. It's a weirdly fitted golf ball to me. It is. It performs like softer and less spin of the Pro V1X, but it's got some of those attributes that I need. Yeah.
Funny that you say that word. This year I kind of played with a bunch of different balls. I played Vice last year or the year before, and I really liked them. And then this year I was kind of, I didn't order any Vice balls. I was just kind of playing with balls. I played with some of the Richmond, the two power ones. Those ones I really liked. I played with the Provies. I didn't mind the Provies, but for me, I really like the TP5. TP5X. It's like the feel for not so much. I like the TP5 better than the TP5X. Just because they're a little bit softer feeling. I just like how they feel a little bit off my wedges and my putter. And for me, the biggest. I'm not a great golfer by any means. Again, we're pretty new to this, but I find I like a golf ball that I can control off the base of my putter. It doesn't sound like it's hitting a roll up. It doesn't sound like it's jumping off there and catapulting out. It's like, and the TP5 just seem to have that nice smooth control. At least for me, anyway.
Yeah, that's those Duo U's or just the regular Srixon Z-Star. Any of those sort of softer caliber. There's a couple balls that when I play with, and I rolled a Bridgestone RXS. You find when you play it, and just certain balls that come off the putter, and I really like putting this golf ball, right? I putt a Titleist fine, but there's certain balls that just sort of click and mush off the putter at the same time, and you just know it's going to be a good feel putting day.
Well, a cheaper ball like the Bridgestone E6s.
Yep.
They're really good, and I bought some E10 contacts. They were on
Yep.
sale at golf. And I'm like, I'll give these a try. Those ones are a little harder. I don't mind those ones, but the E6s are another really nice softball. They get beat up pretty quick, but they do have a really nice deal coming off.
So knowing what balls you guys like, keep an eye on Golf Town because they still have they must have a warehouse stuck with those Wilson Duo Professionals because they're still on their website. It's like the 2018 ball. They're 44 a dozen, but I got them for like they had a sale for under 30. So I knowing you guys by what you're describing, just watch for the sale.
Yeah,
They always
I'll
pop
be
up in
loaded
my
up on them
Instagram
for
ads
sure.
because they know I like Instagram knows I like that ball. So anytime I get fed something from Golf Town ad, it's those balls.
Nice.
And I always check if they're on sale. Yeah.
I like
So-
the Strixon D7.
Yes.
So I played that. I played that for most of last season.
Yeah.
Outside of the Pro V1s and the month or so I used
Last time I broke par was my buddy's wedding, 2018 in Texas. And I finally did it in front of all the internet golf guys I know, final day in the dark. Yeah, it was a Z Star. I don't love the Z Star ZV always plays too firm for me, even though the driver spin's probably good for me because I'm a high launch driver guy. But AJ from Pioneer Golf, when we were on our golf trip this year, gave me a sleeve of diamonds that he loves. And man, that is a primo golf ball, soft like the other ones, kind of lower driver spin like the ZV. That is a fantastic golf ball. Yeah.
Speaking of Pioneer Golf Co, he did my golf covers for my driver and my wood.
Yep.
Yeah, fantastic.
I'm so happy that they've gone from the original concept of making sort of stock house designs, and that's what we offer on our website. And they're truly embracing the one-off. We want to do more custom one-off stuff for the giveaways this year. We want to feature the custom head cover one-off as part of it, right? We want to feature custom, and then they just bought that bigger company, right? So now they are sort of like the Canadian like head cover place in the sense of doing stuff for golf courses and things like that. I'm so happy for them. Yeah. And their custom stuff is, you've seen the little bear, the little bear hybrid cover they did for me that looks like the teddy bear I grew up. It's cute, it's fun, it's fuzzy inside, the leather's great. They've really grown into something. AJ and Sarah deserve everything they get out of this.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I've got they're over there.
Yeah. And everybody go get Pioneer alignment sticks. Yeah, they're worth it. They're beautiful. Yeah.
He did the logo for me on there, Mulligans
Yep.
and Hackers. Does a fantastic job.
I got a blue leather one in that design.
The nice inside in there.
Yep.
My golf colors are red and black, so everything's got to be red and black.
I've gone through phases. I had that red, white, and blue Jones bag that, red was sort of a pop-in color on. So I had to go all blue stuff at the time, and they made me a blue cover. This year, the sub 70 bag was white and black, so I've got all that in. But I mean, with that said, I'm using a driver cover that I had got custom made a few years back from an American company, but it's Ahsoka Tano. And, I was an Ahsoka Tano fan long before they made her mainstream. Trust me, I watched the Clone Wars back in the mid 2000s. Everybody,
Hell yeah, so did I.
I'm not hopping on no bandwagons. Yeah,
it's funny because I play Mizuno's almost up and down my entire bag, other than my wedges and my putter. And Mizuno is blue and white. Well, my colors are black and green. And that's what my whole bag is. Alvin keeps trying to convince me to go blue and white, but then I have to change my entire scheme up.
I think you should go black and green.
My grips are green and black. My bag's green and black. My head covers are green and black. It's just I just kind of like it that way.
I'm not going to argue with you because if you follow me on social, I'm all about being you. You be you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I own it. So do whatever color you want.
Somewhere in his bag, he's got to have green because we call him the leprechaun.
That's right.
So somewhere's got to be a clover and it's got to be green.
Yeah,
somewhere.
Yeah. That's why when I played the vice balls, I got them custom and I have the 4-leaf clover on them.
Yeah, and their yellow is like a green color too. So just play that ball.
Yeah. No, it's so fun because you can just get into so many different things.
Again, we can talk this gear stuff forever because Like for us,
Let's do a second pod.
We talk about balls and clubs and stuff like that. We haven't tried it. So I'm a big TaylorMade R9 fan.
Yep.
So because we never played golf, so we didn't come up through the eras of the R7s and TaylorMade or anything like that. So I like to try things. And I like to try old things. So I found the TaylorMade R9 driver and the TaylorMade R9 3-wood. And the 3-wood is my go-to club in the bag. So really, no matter what I adjust in the bag, that TaylorMade R9 is going to stay in the bag until it literally falls apart.
That was a really good driver. Yeah.
Yeah. So the drivers served me well because the last couple of years I've cycled through a few drivers in the bag. A couple of TaylorMade, Callaway. The TaylorMade R9 spent pretty much most of the year in the bag, right? Mm-hmm. But that TaylorMade R9 3-wood, that's the jam. It's literally going to disintegrate in my hands before it comes out of the bag. Because I could do a lot with that club. And, if you talk about that club when you pull it out of the bag that you're comfortable with, you have no worries about.
Well, we should do a second podcast where we just go deep dive into all the equipment and gear.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, we don't have enough time in this one. The rabbit hole the three of us could go down.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, because again, there's just so much to talk about. And if you get into the gear side of it, like we just spent a bunch of time talking just about the golf ball. I haven't even talked about like the putters or the wedges or the golf clubs. Like there's just so much to talk about.
Yeah, and Alvin's a big Wilson guy. I'm a huge putter guy. Like I could talk putters for hours.
I love putters. I don't exactly collect them, but I like to keep all my putters, just different styles, different weights, beautiful heads. I love an 802 style. Now, so. Yeah. Did you say you have 3 or 4?
Hunt for the elusive putter for yourself.
Did you say you have 3 or 4 now?
Yeah, I have 3 or 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I am a collector because I've probably got over 15 here. So
I thought I was bad. I thought it was normal in the corner.
I got like one basically for every season. I got an old Scotty Cameron Platinum, like Tiger used to roll, and then I got my TaylorMade Spider PCG, which I got last Christmas. That thing was awesome. And then I got what's the other one I got? It's not a common brand. I can't remember it right now.
I used it for a while.
Yeah, you did use it for a while. I got it lengthened because my back was sore that season. So I wanted something I didn't have to punch down over. And it's a really nice putter too. I put like the 27-inch Super Stroke grip on it. So it's nice and long. So I got lots of room. I can go down almost to like a 36-inch putter, or I can go all the way up to higher if I want. And that one rolls nice too. That one's it's multi. It's multi 2-ball.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
The PMC. Yeah. And when I went and got fitted for my iron, talking to the guy who did the fitting, he's like, "Well, why don't you try one of these? These are local guy who does all the fitting. He's been doing it for like 50 years." And he's like, "Try one of these." I rolled it a few times. I'm like, "Yeah, sure, add that to the order. Probably good." Rolled it. I sort of bring it out once in a while. If my putting's off, I find if I just jump back and forth with the putters, kind of refocuses me a little bit. But I'm definitely more of a mallet guy than a blade guy. Like I'll roll a blade once in a while, just for something different. But I like a mallet more.
I was always a blade guy, and I was always a blade guy. The last few years, I had putting issues and had migrated to mallets, and that changed everything. And I was very, the stroke was back on, and then by the end of the season, right back in blades. I had to feel the stroke and really, feel the line more. It went back to feel over just pure stroke with the mallet, and now the mallet feels a little foreign. But none of them will leave the house, because I'm sure by midway next season I'll be back in the mallet and it'll fix all my putting woes, right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's funny you talk about sub 70. I think Alvin there for a while. You had the one sub 70 putter, right? The double 6.
Again, it was naivete and not knowing what you want. I bought a sub 70 putter. I don't have it anymore because I could be old. I'm not a middle face putter liker. I'm an insert putter liker.
I'm the same.
So-
I like it.
Kind of moved away from it, went back to the Odysseys with the insert.
I do like an insert. I've always loved the original white hot inserts. I still have my late 90s dual force Rossi, the little, like the John Rams playing the modern
Yep.
version of it. And that black insert in it is just beautiful, right? Like the new ones too.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, now I'm back into blades and the milling. But you go through putters, and the problem with putters is they're sexy. So you want a sexy looking putter. So
Yeah.
when Sub
I hear
70
that.
came out with
It has to be aesthetically pleasing when you're standing over it and looking down. It
Yeah.
does have to be, the aesthetics have to be there.
I grew up with an 8802 and I loved that putter. And when Sub 70 came out with the 007, I'm like, Jim, build me that. Just build it. I'll put it on social. I have to have that putter. I could not putt with that thing to save my life because, those putters have a sweet spot less than the size of a dime towards the heel, and they flare open and they flare closed. And so it sat here as a beautiful trophy piece, and we passed it on to a part of our golf group, Jake, who he can putt with that thing. But I just wanted it because it looked cool.
Yep.
It was a beautiful black putter.
I
Yeah.
used a Tommy Armour Silver Scout my first year, like first
Yeah.
full season playing golf. It was just similar to the 8802.
Yep.
But it will be sometime in the future, I will have a Wilson 8802 somewhere in this room for me for the collector aspect of it. I want an 8802.
Get close a couple times.
Been close a couple times.
And once again, right here on the podcast, I'm going to reach out to my friend John. John, remember the year neither of us could putt? He was lefty, I was right. We traded putters, and then you lost my 8802. Please, I need another 8802 for just for the closet. Just begging you. Yeah, there was a summer in the late 90s I couldn't putt, and he couldn't putt. He's a lefty, and he's a former scratch, and we traded putters for a season. I putted left for a season. And he putted right, and it sort of fixed our brains. And then I never got the 8802 back. It just disappeared somewhere. So yeah.
Funny how that
But
works.
I'll tell you, to this day, I can grab a left-handed putter and roll it. I last year at the grand opening of Green Tea Golf Shop, they had a putting competition to win a Bettinardi putter. And so I'm there with my buddy Greg, and I'm like, I'll putt left just because we want other people to win this. And I picked up this Odyssey 11 left-handed putter, the 2-ball one, and I made all 3 30-foot putts, and I won the putting contest. And I went out and ordered a right-handed Odyssey 11, but I should probably just putt left-handed this year. It'll probably be a better year than it has been. Yeah.
Well, buddy, Dan, I really appreciate your time, buddy, coming on and doing this for us. It was a great chat, and
It was awesome.
I think there's probably a few more chats down the road somewhere.
I will be there for the Jim Sub 70 podcast. Trust me on this.
When we work that out, you are in, and you're if you haven't signed the contract, it's a verbal contract that you're
You
going
want
to be
him
in.
right here?
You're going to be in when Jim comes on, and we'll get some fantastic stories. But again, I think we should chat again somewhere down the road, maybe even before the season closes.
Anytime you guys want me, I'm back.
Appreciate it. Take care.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks,
That was awesome chatting with you.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Have a good evening.